We often hear about diseases like diabetes and heart disease, but there's often a hidden enemy behind these health problems: insulin resistance. It doesn't make headlines, but it has a huge impact on our health. Insulin resistance is like a thief, silently stealing our energy, our vitality, and our well-being. Think of insulin as a key. This key unlocks the doors to our cells, letting in glucose from the food we eat to give us energy. When we have insulin resistance, the locks on our cells get rusty. The key, or insulin, struggles to unlock the door, and the glucose can't get in easily. This seemingly small problem can have a ripple effect throughout our bodies. Understanding insulin resistance is crucial because it's often at the root of many chronic diseases. The good news is, we have the power to fight back and reclaim our health. By understanding insulin resistance, we can make smart lifestyle choices and take proactive steps to prevent and even reverse its harmful effects. Let's dive deeper into this often misunderstood condition and learn how to take control of our metabolic health. To understand insulin resistance, we first need to understand how insulin works. When our bodies are working correctly, think of our cells like a busy factory, constantly needing energy to function. This energy comes from the food we eat, especially glucose, a type of sugar. When we eat, our digestive system breaks down carbohydrates into glucose. This glucose enters our bloodstream, ready to provide energy to our cells. However, glucose needs help getting into the cells, and that's where insulin comes in. Insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas, acts like a key. When blood glucose levels rise after we eat, the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin travels through the bloodstream to the cells and binds to special receptors on the cell surface, like a key fitting into a lock. This binding signals the cells to open their doors and allow glucose to enter. Once inside, the cells can use the glucose for energy to perform various functions. This process of insulin bringing glucose into our cells helps keep our bodies energized. In a perfect world, insulin works flawlessly, easily guiding glucose into our cells. However, with insulin resistance, this smooth process goes wrong. Imagine the locks on our cells getting rusty. The key, which is insulin, still works, but it takes much more effort to turn and unlock the door. This rust is like insulin resistance. Our cells become less responsive to insulin signal. The glucose transporters, or doors on our cells, don't open as easily when insulin binds to its receptors. As a result, glucose can't enter the cells as easily and starts to build up in the bloodstream. Why does this happen? Several factors contribute to insulin resistance, including genetics, lifestyle, and diet. Eating foods high in refined carbohydrates and sugar, living a sedentary lifestyle, and carrying excess body fat, especially around the belly, are major culprits. These factors disrupt the delicate balance of insulin sensitivity, making our cells less responsive to insulin's effects. Over time, this insulin resistance can lead to numerous health problems, as our bodies struggle to manage the excess glucose in the bloodstream. When our cells resist insulin, our body tries to make up for this inefficiency. Imagine a homeowner who notices their key is hard to turn in the lock. Instead of fixing the rusty lock, they decide to use more force, pushing harder and harder on the key. Similarly, when our cells resist insulin, the pancreas initially responds by producing even more insulin. It's like our body is shouting at the cells, trying to get their attention and force them to take in glucose. This strategy works temporarily, as the increased insulin levels help push more glucose into the cells. However, this coping mechanism comes at a cost. Chronically high insulin levels have negative consequences for the body. High insulin levels can lead to weight gain, especially around the belly, which further worsens insulin resistance. This creates a vicious cycle. Insulin resistance leads to high insulin levels, which leads to weight gain, which worsens insulin resistance. Moreover, constantly high insulin levels can damage blood vessels, increase inflammation, and lead to a variety of health problems. Part 5. Chain reaction. Insulin resistance and your organs. Insulin resistance doesn't just affect our blood sugar levels. It also creates a chain reaction, affecting different organs and systems throughout our bodies. Let's take a look at how insulin resistance affects some key organs. Muscles. Our muscles need glucose for energy, especially during exercise. When insulin resistance prevents glucose from entering muscle cells, it lowers our energy levels and makes it harder to build and maintain muscle mass. Liver. The liver plays a vital role in regulating blood sugar levels. With insulin resistance, the liver becomes less efficient at storing glucose as glycogen and may start producing excess glucose, further raising blood sugar levels. Brain. Our brain is a high-energy organ and relies on glucose as its primary fuel. Insulin resistance can disrupt brain function, affecting memory, mood, and cognitive abilities. Heart. Insulin resistance increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. It promotes the buildup of plaque in the arteries, raises blood pressure, and increases triglyceride levels, all of which damage our blood vessels and increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. Part 6. The brain and insulin, fueling the mind, preventing decline. Our brains are amazing organs. They work all the time, even when we're asleep. To keep working, our brains need a constant supply of energy, and their main source of energy is glucose. Insulin plays a key role in delivering this vital energy to our brain cells. When insulin resistance develops, it interferes with this energy delivery to the brain. Glucose has a hard time getting into brain cells, leaving them short on energy. This lack of energy can show up in different ways, like brain fog, trouble focusing, and memory problems. Also, new research points to a strong link between insulin resistance and a higher risk of neurological diseases, especially Alzheimer's disease. Some scientists even call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes, highlighting the important role of insulin resistance in the disease. Insulin resistance seems to contribute to the buildup of amyloid plaques and tau tangles in the brain, which are hallmarks of Alzheimer's. This impaired insulin function leads to poor brain metabolism and inflammation, creating a toxic environment that speeds up cognitive decline. Section 7. Insulin resistance and heart health, a dangerous duo. Insulin resistance and heart health are closely linked. When insulin resistance develops, it sets off a chain reaction that significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Let's see how this dangerous duo damages our hearts. High blood pressure. Insulin resistance disrupts the balance of hormones that regulate blood pressure. It can lead to sodium retention, increased blood volume, and blood vessel constriction, all of which contribute to high blood pressure. High triglycerides. Insulin resistance promotes the production of triglycerides, a type of fat found in our blood. High triglyceride levels are linked to an increased risk of heart disease. Lower good cholesterol. Insulin resistance lowers levels of high-density lipoprotein, HDL, cholesterol, often called good cholesterol. HDL helps remove harmful cholesterol from our arteries, so low levels increase the risk of plaque buildup. Increased inflammation. Insulin resistance contributes to chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body. This inflammation damages blood vessels, making arteries more vulnerable to plaque buildup and blood clots. Part 8. Taking charge, reversing insulin resistance, and reclaiming your health. The good news is that insulin resistance is often reversible with lifestyle changes. By addressing the root causes, we can improve insulin sensitivity, restore metabolic health, and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Diet. Choose whole, unprocessed foods, a low-carbohydrate diet rich in vegetables, healthy fats, and lean protein sources. Limit processed foods, sugary drinks, and refined grains, which can spike blood sugar levels and contribute to insulin resistance. Exercise. Engage in regular physical activity, including both aerobic exercise and strength training. Exercise improves insulin sensitivity, helps with weight management, and has numerous other health benefits. Stress management. Chronic stress worsens insulin resistance. Practice stress-reducing techniques like yoga, meditation, deep breathing exercises, or spending time in nature. Sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Sleep deprivation disrupts hormone balance and exacerbates insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a serious condition, but it's not a life sentence. With sustainable lifestyle changes, we can improve insulin sensitivity, take control of our metabolic health, and live longer, healthier lives. Remember, small changes can make a big difference over time. Start today and empower yourself to take charge of your health.